little sketch, and now I'm going to kind of make it a little bit more defined. And I'm using radial balance. So I have a person here, and then I have a sun and a spiral going around the sun. You can't really see that much right here, but so I'm just going to draw in the person. I'm just darkening my lines. Give me 1 second. There we go. And this is kind of going to be, we'll see what happens. So I started out with a sketch. You don't need to see everything. I'm still going light because I didn't do all the details. So now I'm putting in her hair. I'm still in the drawing part. I haven't colored it yet. And she has like a scarf on. Kind of looks like a halo as well. We'll see. Just making marks for where the parts of her face are going to be. And I'm probably going to use a combination of media for this, marker and colored pencil. You haven't really seen the radial balance yet, but I wanted to have the radial balance not take over the whole image, but be a part of the image. I wanted to integrate it into an image so it wouldn't just look like a mandala. Just had some different flowers. Just getting my sketch in to start. Or now kind of my drawing, but I'm pressing harder than my first layer. You can see my first layer is really light. And now I'm pressing harder. So I can get but I'm not pressing too hard. What I'm trying to say is I may even do another layer of pencil because I know I might erase something or move it. She's kind of in the middle, but a little to the right. You can be as simple as complicated as you want with this. Let me leave that for right now. Okay, so it's like a woman holding flowers. She's standing in the hills. There is a line that's dividing the picture almost exactly in half, horizontally. Let me put in, she's wearing a skirt. Okay, now up here, you haven't really seen the radial balance part yet. Hold on. So I have like a sun right here, and I created a spiral for the radial balance, and I have lines coming out of the sun. Or radial symmetry. And this is just kind of an element of fantasy. And then there's this one. Hold on. So I have some of it coming in front of her and some of it coming behind her. I couldn't find my ruler, so I just got this envelope where I'm going to make the lines. I'm trying to make sure these lines are straight. And they're not really like rays of the sun. They're just kind of radial symmetry lines. So you could say that this picture is in between realism and abstraction. I forgot this one. And I'm wondering if I want to have them come through. Let me do it lightly and see what it looks like, and then I can erase it if I don't like it. Just so it would be kind of going throughout the whole image. We'll see. I might. On the spiral, I wanted to add to the radial symmetry. So there's a spiral. Oh, radial symmetry. Before I keep going, hold on. You could also use, I had this picture, but so I wanted to have on the spirals like butterflies going around the woman. So like right here, and I want them to get bigger as they go out like as they go out on the spiral and like smaller as they go in. So like right here, if there's a butterfly right here, it'll be really tiny. Just to add to the effect of the spiral getting bigger. So I want to have them going around the parts of the spiral. Because it just looks kind of like an abstract spiral, but if I put these butterflies on it, it kind of looks like it's like their path. Okay, so over here, it's going to be a little bit bigger. And here too. Here it's going to be pretty big as well. And then here, should I have one right in front of her? Where it's getting even closer to this part, I'm going to have them really big. And I'm trying to think if I want to put anything right here. Do I want a flower or some grass? Or do I like that empty space since it's so busy? I'm just thinking out loud. And that's what you have to do when you're doing your artwork. I'm erasing some of the lines. I want the butterflies to just be on top of whatever's underneath them. I want some grass down here. I'm just gonna, you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out if there's too much empty space. Oh, another hill. That just popped into my head. So you can really hear me thinking out loud. Maybe I want another hill down here to break up the space a little bit more. I don't want this to be too busy, you know? I want to focus on the spiral, but I don't want it to be too plain. So you always have to kind of look for that. All right, so I'm actually, let me raise this up so you can see. kind of what it looks like. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to just define my sketch, and then I'm going to come back in. I think I'm going to combine colored pencil and marker, so you can combine media, and then you can do your drawing. And I'll show you. I'm just going to clean it up and maybe start a little bit of the color. So I think it looks really good in marker. So what I tried to do, I'm not done, so I'm going to finish it on here. So I did the hills, right, in the background, and I did the butterflies. But for the hills, where the spiral was crossing it, I changed the color from each place to add to the radial symmetry. Okay, so now I'm going to do some outlining. And I'll do some other pieces in other media. I just know that this video would take hours and hours if you saw the whole thing. So sometimes I do parts of it just to speed it up. So I'm trying to put areas of similar color. Just outlining it. And I put some extra hills up here because I haven't colored them in yet, but it seemed like there's a lot over here. So I wanted to balance it out. So I put some hills over here. So I was trying to change the color where the radial lines are crossing parts of the drawing. But I think this looks really good in marker alone. In a way, it looks like cubism because the lines are crossing, and that's why I changed the color to make that more obvious. The radial lines are breaking up the regular shapes in the drawing into different shapes. My black is running low, so I'm just going to do these two butterflies, and then I'll come back to it after it kind of rests for a little while. Whoops. And remember, if you make a mistake on a drawing, like in marker, you can always cut out a piece of paper, redo it, and glue it. All right, so now I'm going to look at, oh, I need to do the greens and the hills. So I'm going to continue doing greens. I'm going to leave the black to dry, but I need some greens up here in these hills that I drew. I want to balance the color as well. So like this green is over here. So I want to have the colors balance each other out. And we're going to do a chapter on color later. And I'm going to have it up here. Right here. I'm putting a lot of this light green in here. And then I'm going to get another light green. But it's different. So I'm breaking these areas of the hill. You don't have to be this complicated. If you just want to do something like a sun or a mandala, you can. But I wanted to do a picture that had radial symmetry in it. So this is kind of how I'm interpreting it. But you could do some really complex suns with some shapes in it, a kaleidoscope. You can do any kind of symmetry. So again, you can do all over pattern, regular symmetry, radial symmetry, or asymmetry with balance. Using a different green right here. It's more of a blue-green. I like to group colors together like greens, blue-greens. They're called analogous colors, but they look really well together. So I added these hills to balance out the top space because there's so many butterflies over here. You want to have some empty space, but not too much empty space. So you want to have a balance. And let me continue this green right here. And what am I going to put? I'm going to put this green right here. Okay, so now I'm going to outline in black. Hopefully my black is okay. This is actually a dark gray because I used up my regular black. Just kind of outlining it, and I think it looks much better with the outlines. Okay, so now I'm going to go right into the middle of the sun and put in, the sun is going to be red. And then I'm going to get some blues and some grays for the sky. I haven't even done the girl yet. So, let me get some blues out. And maybe grays too. I'm still thinking about that. I don't want it to be too colorful. So, I'm just looking at my colors. I'm going to start with the outer areas. So I'm going to have these change color too to emphasize the radial symmetry. This one is running out of ink. I'm trying to be as careful as I can, but not too careful. This one is running out of ink too. Uh-oh. Okay, let me, they're all running out of ink because I've used them so much. Just a little bit darker. I'm going to try some gray. Give me 1 second. Here's a darker blue. I'm looking for one other light blue. Give me 1 second. There's two light blues that are kind of similar. So I'm going to try this one. Let's try the other side. There we go. Okay, another one. I'm going to try the other one again. They're kind of similar, but not exactly the same. So I'm going to do, in the other things I do, I'm going to use paint, watercolor, pen and ink, pastels, so you get a chance to see different media. I just thought this one would look really good in marker. And design, for designs, I have the habit of working in marker because I try to make things that are like crisp. Whoops, what did I just do? I totally messed that up. Oh my gosh. Okay. I try to make things that are crisp and clear, and usually chalk and oil pastel can be messy. But I'm going to still show you the other media. Watercolor and ink can be messy. Let me try the other side. It seems like all my blues are running out. We'll see what I can do. You can mix media too. Like when I first saw this, I wanted to do marker with colored pencil over parts of it, and I still might do that. But So you don't have to just limit yourself to like ink. You can do ink and chalk, ink and marker, ink and, combine anything that you want. And I want to show you that on some of the assignments. All right, hold on. Let me try a dark blue over here. That looks black, but it's really a dark blue. When I'm picking my colors, I mean, I didn't really like plan every color, but I try to pick a dark because these two areas are light. So I kind of try to look at things and how they relate to each other. I'm going to get my red. We'll see how far I can get with the markers. I'm going to do some work on her. So I'm going to have this flower pot red. She's holding 2 flower pots. So be creative and have fun with these assignments. There's no right or wrong way to do them. And I'm going to have her tights red. You can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. There are her tights. Okay, now let me look at, I might put some flowers on her dress down here, but let me look at her flowers. I'm going to make this one red. And I'm going to go pink right here. It kind of looks red too. There's my pink. So the colors are mimicking throughout the image. Here's this pink. It's the same pink that's in the butterfly wing. I'm going to use the red violet for the center of these, which is the same as the color I used on the butterflies. And I'm going to have these pink too. And I'm going to do her cheeks. I'm going to make them a little bigger, like a little Red Riding Hood or like a character for a children's book. That's kind of what I imagine this as. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what color I want her to be wearing. I'm just thinking maybe let me do her hair. Actually, let me get my black for a second. I'm just thinking to myself, sorry, that's part of the process. It's not all totally clean and organized. Let me try the Sharpie. It is working right now. And I'm going to put in some of these lines. So they're just here. Now you can see this. These are just some of the lines I didn't do before, taking a little break from the color. This is going to take me a while, so I have about 8 more minutes to do in this video, and then I'll have to stop and start again. But I may fill in some before I start again. The outlining really makes it stand out. So remember, you can do all over pattern, regular symmetry on a horizontal axis, regular symmetry on a vertical axis, regular symmetry on both, asymmetry with balance, radial symmetry. Those are your choices. To me, this one has, I tried to make a piece, like if you saw the color wheel in the radial symmetry part, it doesn't really have content, it just has form. But I tried to make something that had form and content. So the form is kind of radial symmetry mixed with cubism in a way, in a way, kind of. And the content is that this woman is on a journey and the butterflies are kind of flying around her in the form, the radial symmetry kind of showing that she's like blossoming or going somewhere. So it kind of, to me, the way and what you're supposed to be doing in art is the way that you're doing something is supposed to add to the meaning, if there is a meaning. There doesn't have to be a meaning. Like something, you could have all over pattern, which is just letters from the alphabet, right? Just letters, 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 letters. But then you could have letters that spell out something and say a message, and that's adding content to form. So I tried to make the meaning like she's a free person, butterflies are flying around her, they're flying in a spiral, radiating around her like the sun. It's supposed to be a positive message in the image. And that goes with the radial balance. When you have the asymmetry, if you're using asymmetry, not be as happy. I'm just doing some outlining right now until I go back into the color. So form gives you content if there is content. And that's something that you learn by practice. What form would be the best way to express the message that I'm trying to convey? You may have to make a couple sketches. All right, I've done a lot of outlining, but I'm still not done. This is going to take a while. And I have one of the radial lines going through her. I didn't do all of them. I just did one of them. Let me get my envelope. I don't want it to be, I want to connect it right. There we go. This kind of looks okay. And I may put some flowers down here on her dress. Okay, let me do her eyebrows. I don't want to mess up her face. It's so tiny. Well, that eye was too small. So I'll make her eyes black that way. That's the way you're seeing me fix the mistake. I was going to put eyeballs in there, but I need one a size that was not. This is like her scarf with a pattern on it. And her tights I'm outlining. Okay, I've actually gone past half an hour. So I'm gonna stop here, put in some color, and maybe come back and show you how I would add in some colored pencils. I'm just moving these to like kind of exaggerate the spiral and the rays coming from the sun, and then it turns into sky over here. And what I was thinking was, so it's pretty much done. I like it like this. I don't know if I want to add colored pencil because I don't know if that will mess it up or not. But I'm going to add a little bit. So you can mix media. So I just wanted to show you that. So say you wanted to kind of enhance some of the edges, enhance the cubism aspect in a way. I'm going to enhance some of the edges with colored pencil. And so I'm going hard on the edge, but I'm letting some of the marker show through. Oops, I messed up my paper. So I'm going to leave it like just how it is. You can't really see this color. So this is subtle. Let me lower it more. It's just pretty subtle, but it's just going to give it a little bit more of a kick into an interesting design or drawing. I'm just kind of going around the edges. We'll add some character to it. Okay, so now I'm going to get a darker green for the darker areas. Yeah, you can see that. I'm especially focusing on the corners. And let's try, I'm probably not going to make this video very long. Well, we'll see. Let's try the red up here. Just enhancing some of the work that I did in marker so it doesn't look so flat, two-dimensional, and plain. So here's my orange. So layer, I mean, you want to make your design as nice as you can. And I mean, it's not really necessarily hard. It's just time consuming. So you have to have patience. And I mean, you gain your talent. You have talent and then you gain talent by practicing, but you need to have patience to practice and do like another layer and another layer and add another layer and add another layer. And then you make something that's really nice. I'm going to go back to my red. And I also have a pink. Let's see how the pink looks. I'm going to try the pink on the pink. It just looks exactly the same. So I'll leave the pink. You don't have to, say you wanted to do this on yours. You don't have to do it on every color or on every square. You could just do it on a few, or you could do it on every one. But there's a lot of different options. And let's see what blues I have. I got some blues out. Can you see that? Yeah. So see how much dimension that already adds to it. Although it's not realistic shading, it's color over color, and it's the same color, but it's a little bit of a different kind of dimension of it. But it gives it a lot more dimension. I mean, I liked it as it was, but I mean, would I enter it into an art contest without a couple more layers? No. So you have to put in the time. And usually the work is not really that hard. It's just a lot of time consuming work that requires patience. When I'm painting at home, sometimes I just turn on the TV, listen to documentaries. So I'm not just, it doesn't seem so, because in a way, I mean, part of it, you're using a lot of your mind, like designing it and thinking about it and changing stuff. But when you're doing something like this, you could be doing this for a couple hours, and in a way, it really is just mindless work. So I turn on something like a documentary and listen to it while I'm doing it. So it doesn't seem so, boring. Or I listen to music sometimes. Let me get my purple. I'm going to try putting the purple, that may be a little more blending, on the dark blue area. I mean, you don't need to see me do this to the whole drawing, obviously, but I just wanted to give you an idea. I'm going to put some right here. This could take a couple hours to really pep this up and make it amazing. And get some lighter blue. Is that too similar? No, there's a difference. So I'm getting similar colors with a little bit of difference. And I'm just kind of messing with the color of each section, adding some shading in it, but in a way it's abstract. It's kind of like cubism. It's not the real shading. Get my green for right here. I'm not going to do that much more. I think you get the idea. But you can make some really amazing stuff by doing layering of media. All right. I'm going to stop here. I think you got the idea. So you can just really pep up your drawing by doing extra layers of different media. It could be ink and oil pastel, ink and chalk pastel. I'm sorry, marker and oil pastel, marker and chalk pastel, watercolor and oil pastel, watercolor and chalk pastel, watercolor and colored pencil. So there's endless combinations that you can try. Let me see what color this is. It's too similar. Try it over here. Still really similar. All right, I'm going to stop here.